Um, Welcome to the music podcast. I'm very, very excited to be here. We have a very special guest with us. We have the one, the only Alex Kate joining us. She's been at South by Southwest London today. We're very excited to have her on the podcast as well. Alex, how are you today?
Yeah, I'm doing well. I'm feeling pumped about the music industry, having been around all these amazing innovators. So yeah, I'm feeling good. Hope you're doing well too.
The perfect time to get you on. The perfect time. So, we start every single one of our shows with some overrated and underrated. So, I'm going to name some artists, and you and Tom will say if you think they're overrated, underrated, or maybe just rated fine, and it is just your opinion. But we want to find out. So, the first artist I'm going to say to you guys is Ed Sheeran.
Oh,
Overrated.
Oh,
I don't know. I feel like I can't say anything because the producer I'm working with plays for him.
what one?
Yeah, I think um I'll stand out of that one.
I would say underrated, but there you go. Next one, Katy Perry.
Overrated.
Yeah, overrated.
Coldplay.
Underrated. I love them. I know.
Yeah, I'd say underrated. I think it's cool to hate Coldplay, but I think everybody has a soft spot for them, really.
Adele.
I do love her too. Um, I'm like middle of the road for her because I think she's loved. So
Maybe it's just rated fine. You can just
like,
say rated.
oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think she's rated fine. I think she's very, very talented and gets a lot of love for it. I don't think she's either one or the other. So yeah,
And Charlie XCX.
I don't
rated.
overrated. Yeah, me too. But I know I don't connect with her music. I know she connects with so many people. So, but she's just not my.
Yeah, it's just not for me either, I don't think.
Well, there we have it. So we're going to move swiftly on. So, Alex, we want to find out all about yourself and talk to our fan base as well and get their kind of point of view. So, I want to talk to you and undercover some of your early roots and where you've come from. Who are your heroes growing up? Who did you have at posters on the wall that you loved? And your first memories of music?
Oh man, I think Spice Girls.
Hmm?
Love
Fantastic.
they were just incredible and one of the first albums I bought. Um, and just gotta love Ronan Keating. He was, you can say it best if you say nothing at all. Um, I yeah, I think there was some brilliant artists in sort of the 90s. I remember watching Top of the Pops when I was like 12. But um yeah, I think I miss those days. Those
I
days of
love
good old.
that. No, you say you're a British singer with a mission, which I love, and it sounds fantastic. So talk us about your mission and talk us about what nostalgic pop is, because it sounds absolutely fantastic, and I love listening to your music, but I want to know what it means to you.
Oh, thanks. Well, I don't follow rules. That's one main thing. Like my last EP was a kind of orchestral piano led, but then I collaborated with a rapper on one of the tracks to raise awareness of men's mental health. Because this guy was a burn survivor, is a burn survivor. And I think for me, I want to say something with my songs. I've just finished recording an album in Nashville, but I'm a pop artist, so a bit random. But um, and each track, some of them are quite political. I wrote one of them for the election in America because I was just getting really annoyed about the polarization of everyone. So I think in some small way, I want to add my voice to the conversation, and also another song that is yet to be made but will be on the album is about beauty and just trying to again raise awareness of this manufactured beauty industry that we live in, and trying to celebrate, like a lot of people do, celebrate the differences, and that's beautiful. So that's one side of it. And then nostalgic pop, it's interesting because I've gone through different genres slightly on each different sort of project. But the current project is really pop. Like my new single coming up is definitely more towards Sabrina Carpenter, but then I've got other ones that are definitely more Kate Bush vibes, but it's sort of blending kind of 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s sounds together. So that's why I guess the nostalgic pop element. I love using synths in some of the tracks. And yeah, just I find myself going with what I feel. I don't necessarily need to be totally siloed, which is nice.
I want to talk a little bit about Lost Soldier. That Burn Victims 5 Moby one. He is a client of ours. He's been on the podcast to tell his story, and it's a very powerful story. And isn't such a lovely, charismatic guy. Obviously, you're very, very different genres. So, how was it working together on Lost Soldier? And did you enjoy having that, or was it quite difficult at the start, coming from two different angles?
It was the best. I mean, I think what's so funny is you can tell by my accent, it's a bit like posh, and it was just so fun to work with someone that makes me cool in a way. I mean, I'm so uncool by saying that, but you know, he's just the most inspirational, wonderful, talented guy, and it was just amazing that he felt that he could add his flavor to the song. Like, I originally did the track on its own, and it was to raise awareness for men's mental health, but it felt ironic that it was me as a woman doing it. And then my friend put me in touch with him, and then he joined me on stage to perform it. And it just was magic. It was electric in the room. We hadn't even recorded it, but we decided we wanted to test it out in the audience. And everyone was like, you need to record this. So quickly got the stems from him, and then just like did remix the record and got it mastered and released it. And yeah, I loved it. I loved every second. And we want to do some more collaborations together, which is awesome. Because again, with other works of mine, I like blending genres. I don't like to be stuck. And I think it's really important, again, in this world of like algorithms and people feel like they have to stick in one lane. But really, actually, to be fair to Ed Sheeran, he has enabled people to not be stuck to a genre. And that's awesome. So yeah, but I can understand with some people they have to stick to their lane. But yeah, so to answer your question, Moby was fabulous to work with, and I would love to work with him again.
He is phenomenal, isn't he? He always puts a smile on everyone's face, which is incredible. I want to know, what's the biggest risk you've taken in your music career, and how did it shape where you are today?
Oh, so after my first release, so I started in 2020. I got offered a big deal. I was offered £500,000 investment, and I said no. And that was wonderful, because one, it showed me I could never be bought. And two, I knew it was the right decision because I didn't know who I was as an artist. I'm sure they would have done a great job maybe getting me somewhere, but it was just really nice to develop myself, find my sound, do it kind of in a hustling way, without a massive budget. But that was a risk for sure. So many people said you're crazy. So I think that, and then in general, just being an artist in this day and age, I imagine people listening will feel the same. It is a risk. It is like a lottery in a way.
Absolutely. And it's really interesting to hear that, because I think some musicians, Alex, would be like, what are you doing? And other musicians would go, oh my God, you've dodged a bullet there. You've done the right thing. So it'd be really interesting to think what other musicians think of that. But I love the fact you've stayed authentic in that. I think your gut feeling says a lot as an artist, doesn't it?
Yeah, you've got to listen to it. I mean, today in one of the South by Southwest talks, they were saying like, it was Sam Ryder. He was saying like, just stop consuming so much social media. As soon as you do that, actually, you start to listen to your inner voice again, and your inner voice is usually right. So that was a really valuable piece of insight from him.
Would you recommend other artists? Obviously, South by Southwest, massive in Texas. It's come over here to London. For someone that's brand new and you've been there today, would you recommend it to other artists?
I would say so, but the way I did it, where you get a good discount, because it is bonkers expensive. I wouldn't have done it if I had to pay a normal rate. But to be fair to them, they do offer out discounts, which is awesome. But I think it's great, and just have the courage just to go introduce yourself. Like, Great Escape is the best thing. I've done it for years now, and I do it under, because I run a little label, so I kind of do it under business hat. But then, because I do think artists are sometimes not taken seriously in this context, they're kind of like, oh, you're an artist, slightly patronizing.
I say to artists all the time, make a fake manager's email and you send it out, and it does make a difference. It's crazy, isn't it?
It really does. But I think, but then when you find the really passionate musicians, like today I was chatting to a startup guy, and he was an originally a musician, and he just looked with sort of nostalgic eyes, being like, oh, I wish I could do it still. And he was really encouraging. But when you find the ones that like to sort of throw their power around, they can be a bit condescending, but you just ignore them. So I'd say yes, get the discount code, introduce yourself. You might find some idiots, but you might meet some gems.
Absolutely. I love Great Escape. We used to run the stage there. It was just absolutely phenomenal. And the people you meet, like you said, you do get a gem from time to time. You just connect. It's not even about, career-wise. It's sometimes you just really connect with someone and really get on. And I think it's a beautiful space to try and do that. We've got some fan questions come in for Mr. Westwell. So Tom, I'm going to bring you in at this point. We have a question here. This is from, funny enough, someone else called Alex, and they said, what's your most unpopular music opinion, Tom?
I think I've had quite a few on this podcast along the line. I don't feel like, do I need to go for something new? I don't know. I think the Oasis being overrated one is never going to go down well, I think, with a mainly British audience. So I'll stick.
The evidence is there, which I called the comeback, and you said no.
I still, it hasn't happened yet, has it? Yeah, I'll stick with that one. Yeah,
but I could be proven wrong there. We have Eloise. She said, Tom, which artist would make the worst flatmate and why?
Ooh, worst flatmate. I think like somebody that would be like I think if you had like a punk guy or like a new like an indie punk guy, like if you had like idols, I think they'd be the best flatmates. They would be like, they'd make sure all the washing's up done, something like that. I think like the worst you could have would be like, I don't know. Again, even like the Rolling Stones, right? You hear them like, crazy, crazy artists, but actually they're all really like boring, quite like well brought up, like private school kids.
You're thinking the opposite.
So I'm thinking the opposite of that. I'm just trying to think like, there's a frat. Huh?
Youngblood.
Oh yeah, I think Youngblood would be quite messy. I could imagine.
Tom's very clean on his own.
Yeah. I don't like lots of loud music as well. So
what? You think idols? You put listening to classical around the house?
No, because I reckon they wouldn't. They'd be respectful and be like, "Oh, we'll only practice whilst you're out," or something like that. Yeah, I reckon Youngblood would be, or like Machine Gun Kelly. I don't think I'd want to live with Machine Gun Kelly.
Jess has asked. I think she's been quite clever with this question. Alex, I'm going to ask you as well. I think she's been clever with this question, Tom. She said, "Who's overdue a comeback?" Because we know how you feel about comebacks, Westwell. Well, I do anyway.
Overdue a comeback. Ooh. Do they have to have stopped, or have they just sort of just had to have fallen off a little bit?
I thought it stopped.
Stopped. Oh. See, most of the artists I like are still going. I would have said Maccabees, but they keep dipping their toe in, don't they? So I'm going to say Maccabees. They can do it properly.
Alex, who would you choose? Who do you think's overdue a comeback?
It's a really hard one. I mean, I would have loved, I know Kate Bush has had a comeback, but she doesn't perform anymore. Like, I she still performs. That would be amazing.
I got to see. Love to see Kate Bush. Yeah, what a shout.
I love Kate Bush's like values on socials. Like she's really sticking up for independent artists and kind of shining a light on the people that are making it really difficult in this industry. Like she's using her platform. I've not seen another artist do that. Or not as her anyway.
I would say Imogen's quite good, but yeah, I would. Yeah, I'm glad that Kate Bush is still. I actually, the other day someone said, "Who would be the number one person you want to see live?" And I said, her, 100%. Yeah,
Maybe a collab.
that'd be so good. That would be so good.
Amazing. Right. This is the latest music news. So, Mabel's album shift. British singer Mabel has scrapped her planned comeback due to a creative burnout and released a self-titled mixtape instead. Band Haim take a new direction. The Haim sisters discussed their fourth album, I Quit, emphasizing personal growth and shedding industry expectations. Sabrina Carpenter has done a teaser today hinting at new music. Talking Heads potential reunion. The iconic band have posted a cryptic video hinting at a possible reunion 41 years after their last live performance. We're going to move on to Tom Westwell's quiz of the week. Would you like to let me and Alex know?
Yeah.
Next.
Yeah. I put a lot of time into this quiz actually as well. And I didn't use ChatGPT to write it at all. But here we go. This is a 70s and 80s music quiz. It's going to be head to head, and I'm going to give you a question. You need to call out the answer. Some of them are quite easy. I will give you that. Last week, I think the quiz was a little bit too niche, and we didn't really get any correct answers. So you got to be quick because you're going to know the answer. So you get a point for the right answer, by the way. I think that should be quite self-explanatory. And it's 10 questions. It's 10 questions. So should we get started? You don't need a buzz or anything. Just call out the answer. So, which band released hit song Bohemian Rhapsody in 1975? It is Queen. Yes. What was the name of Michael Jackson's breakthrough 1982 album?
Thriller. I know.
It is Thriller. Yes.
Oh no.
And I love the 80s.
I love 80s music as well. I'm just embarrassingly slow.
Yeah, you are. Which British band had a hit in 1981 with Don't You Want Me?
Oh. Don't you want me, baby?
Don't you want me? Oh.
That's the song. Yep.
Don't you want me?
It's not a
Is it something League?
It is.
Human League.
It is the Human League.
Alex, I would not.
Who gave the points there and there? The song Staying Alive is associated with what musical group?
And
It is the Bee Gees. 2-4.
it's coming back.
What iconic 1987 U2 album features the tracks With or Without You and I Still Have... Oh, I knew you'd get
Now that.
It's the album I'm named after.
Who was the lead singer of Blondie, known for hits like Heart of Glass and Call Me?
Oh, Debbie Harry.
It is Debbie Harry.
I love Debbie Harry as well. It's honestly so bad. I didn't know that.
Which 1977 song by Fleetwood Mac contains the lyrics "Thunder only happened"?
Dream.
Yep. Very quick in there. What genre of music rose to popularity in the early 80s with bands like Depeche Mode and New Order?
Punk rock? No.
Nope.
No, what is
Nope.
it?
Were you electro something?
Nope. It's something pop. And a little clue, it's an instrument that Alex mentioned earlier.
Synth pop.
It is synth pop. Question number 9. Prince released his landmark album Purple Rain in which year?
Ooh.
It's in the 80s and it's early 80s.
H2?
3.
A little bit later than those ones.
4.
85.
84.
84.
And then final question. What American singer had massive 1980s hits like a Virgin and Material Girl?
Oh my
One-
gosh, that was so
Very quick.
I
Well done. You have won. You're the first guest as well that's beaten Josh, so that's
really?
congratulations. Yeah.
At least
So fair play to you there.
I feel like I had the best era.
Yeah.
Right, we're gonna look at the music marketing campaign or music genius of the week. This week I've gone with Olivia Rodrigo's Sour campaign. Fans really loved it because it included a themed car wash and a virtual prom to connect with fans. And people of that age and demographic just absolutely went crazy for online, creating a whole campaign or world around an album that people get behind, the purple, the colors that were used. It was an incredible campaign for Nice. Definitely take a look at. Alex, I want to come back to you and some of your music. I feel like releasing a song is a very personal thing to do. Do you ever get emotional listening back to a song that you put out or made?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, for a little time, I hate them. Because, well, not hate them, but like I literally can't listen to them because I've listened to every single nuance because I sort of co-produce a lot of my records. But yeah, there's certain songs where they're about, like an ex or yeah, just certain situations where I'm like, oh, this feels a bit raw. But they're the best. And actually, sometimes sometimes at my gigs, I'll perform a song that's very, very fresh and my emotion is very fresh to it. And that's really exciting because I'm able to like transmit that emotion on stage.
Do you ever get nervous before going on, Alex?
Not really anymore. I just see it as a job. But the other day I was performing literally just in front of 2 people. and and that I find very intimidating.
So I can imagine, yeah.
Yeah. Like, do I look at them? Do I not? Like, and then yeah, it's quite it's interesting. I think when there's a few more people, then it's easier. But I think just before I might just suddenly get a little bit like, "Ooh, this is interesting. What am I doing? Why are people coming to see me?" But then I sort of forget that and like put that energy into kind of just sharing and imagining that other people have experienced the emotions that I've experienced. So these songs might help them. So it's kind of any creator that I created that I really respect, they say it's kind of like creating music's like serving people. And as soon as you get into that mode, then you're like you're just like, well, it's not about me. So that sort of any artist listening, if you're getting nervous or anything like that, just know like if you switch your mentality to you're serving people, you're helping people, you're giving to people, you'll stop getting nervous.
Yeah, I really like that because I think like as an artist, you obviously write so much music that's based on like your own personal experiences and your own personal sort of emotions. But the second you release it, it becomes everyone else's, and it's only right that you then let them have that connection with the music that's become then so personal to them, whoever is whatever they're going through as well. So yeah, really nice way of thinking about it.
Like for example, the Lost Soldier song, like it was crazy. I got all these DMs from guys struggling and some actually like horrible things that they're going through. And I could give them some sort of piece of I couldn't even give them advice, but just listen. And then also point to Moby, who's been through such horrific situation that he has the authority on the subject. But that song and then the way it connected people really, really did make me emotional because of the very real situations some of my listeners have been going through.
I think it's really powerful to be able to talk about that stuff. I think there's a real stigma with men that they can't talk, they can't share, isn't there? And having a song like that with a character like Moby, who's so open to the point where it must be difficult for him, especially in those early stages. But the song and his story would help people if they were on that. And yeah, you must be really proud and for yourself for such a brilliant song. A question I'd like to ask you, okay, and I also want to bring Tom in if he was still an artist, an ex-artist. What's one musical idea you've always wanted to try, but haven't been brave enough to attempt or had the money to attempt yet?
I'm gonna love to perform with a live orchestra. That would be amazing. My last EP was orchestral and also a lot of percussion. That would be cool. The other thing though, I kind of dabble in EDM music, but that's definitely like a passion project at the moment. But if I had that, put more emphasis into that.
I love that. That'd be so cool to like just if you just dropped an EDM single just out of nowhere. That'd be brilliant.
Yeah.
Tom, if you were still in a band, what would you be thinking?
Oh, I don't know. Like every now and then, I think, oh, maybe I'll make a little bit of a comeback myself. I don't know. I think it'd be cool. Just I'd like to do something quite simple, probably. I'd like to make something maybe a little bit like folky, guitar-y, but Orlando Weeks from the Maccabees makes some really nice like solo music. It's not like pop music and it's very very niche, but it is very nice. Like does a lot of stuff with like pianos and synths and stuff like that. And
Have you ever released any solo stuff on SoundCloud at all?
yeah, I have, but not like just like demos, but like just not with any vocals, just demos. But I used to be in the habit of recording a lot, like solo stuff, so I'm quite handy on that sort of side of stuff. But it's just having the
Maybe
confidence to go the next step. But yeah, and I'm not the best singer either, so that's I'd need a few vocal lessons, I think.
no, it's Charlie Puth and he uses auto-tune.
Oh yeah, it's true. Actually, I just whack up the auto tune. It's quite difficult to do auto tune though. I found it hard.
Yeah. Well, go for it. I mean, I worked in the music industry and wasn't an artist for such a long time. And it's just so nice. I think if you're made to create, you need to create. Otherwise, you're just
Yeah,
stagnant lake.
I think I'd struggle being vulnerable. I think like not necessarily about like the context of the song, but like putting yourself out there and saying like, oh, I'm gonna be a musician now, and like, oh, look at me. They're like,
Well, I feel like something like that though is so much in your head. Like, who
oh yeah,
who would be there and be like, "Oh, don't do that," or judging, or what? No one that's done that before. No singer or songwriter would ever judge an artist for doing that. I don't think.
no, I think so. Maybe that'll be the next little direction for the podcast. Is sort of follow along with my career.
Yeah, I'm up for it. I think, the reality is that you can only be your biggest champion and just go. I thought, no, I'm not going to do this, not going to do this. And now I've been running 110 miles an hour at it. I've just experienced a whole like deluge of trolls online, which has been fascinating. It's great for the algorithm, but like,
Tell us about that. What do you do with that?
it's like it's one video that was just me stupidly singing in the garden to friends after a couple of glasses of rosé. Probably should have posted it. But it's joyful, it's fun. It's about my new song, Summer Suits, and summer suiting everyone. And it's offended so many people. And 149,000 views, so many, like a lot of people who connect with it as well. And I've had lovely people from the drag queen community, stitching it and stuff like that. But it's interesting. And I go onto the profiles of the trolls. And at first I was like, oh no, I know I need to take it down. But then I was like, actually, instead, I'm going to go onto the profiles of the trolls. And if I can access them, I'm going to comment something really nice on their profile. So that's what I've been doing. And most of them, I realized that anyone saying anything mean is just a projection of how they feel about themselves. And, if you can, I've forgotten who said it, but if you live by man's opinion, you'll die by their criticism. So have a few people who can be honest with you. And, it is not the best piece of content I've ever produced, but at the moment, I'm just going to use it for algorithms purposes. But
I think that's such great advice though for an artist listening to this. Like, I feel like if you're going to be successful, you're always going to get a backlash, trolls, keyboard warriors say stuff. So I actually really like, go back on their profile and comment something. I really like that. I don't know why. Just...
Even on TikTok lives, like if I have trolls enter my lives, I'll just tell the crew on my sort of regulars, be like, let's just send some like love to them because they've obviously got out of the wrong side of the bed this morning. And actually a couple of them have like done a full like 180 or 360 or whatever and sort of apologized. And that's fascinating. Or they just log off. But it is, the old adage of kill it with kindness, I think really does work.
Okay, I love that. That's brilliant. Alex, in terms of artists, we have a lot of musicians listen to this podcast. You were in the industry before, you're now an artist yourself, songwriter, producer. I mean, loads of avenues we could go down here. How do you know when you're working with a good person? Because for me, I have artists all the time ask me or DM me, should I work with this person? Should I work with that person? They're looking at reviews, they're trying to talk to people. What would be your advice around that?
Gosh, it is hard. I mean, I was trying to set up a trust pilot for music and music industry providers because I think I've had some really bad experiences. But I would say do a test if you can. So I think with producers, you just have like a 3 hours session with them and see if there's a vibe. And I would say, oh, sorry, a dog's option. It's Mary. But I would say have a test, and then if it goes well, go for it. But I've had a few DMs from artists ask me. They say, "I see you've worked with this person. What do you think?" And that's also a really good thing. And just get artists to be honest, because there has been some awful people that I've worked with that have just taken my money and not given me any. Obviously, it's really hard with industry like services like PR. You can't guarantee anything. Right. But I think certainly with producers and stuff like that, just ask around.
Absolutely. Alex, what's coming up for you the rest of this year? What can people get excited about?
Well, Summer Suits You, or Summer Suits as the song's called. That's out on the 27th. I'm performing at the Half Moon in Putney on the 24th of June. I'm doing a little van tour around the country where I'm just going to be busking. So that's quite fun. So I'm just going to I did a little TikTok and found out where people want me to go. And then I've got this album, which is pretty bonkers. Shot the videos in South Africa. I've got a family out there, so I go there each year and kind of make some fun videos. But yeah, I just want to keep creating and have fun. And if you're an artist and you want to connect, please reach out because I love cross-pollination. I love sharing stories and ideas.
That's what it's all about, isn't it? Artists helping each other, navigating it together. I love that.
Yeah, because it is, as an artist, it is hard. Like I was chatting to an artist today and I was like, we are the first to dole out the cash and the last to eat. And it's really hard and it's a huge risk. But we also live in a day and age where we are with the most amazing opportunity of doing guerrilla marketing. So finding those ways of doing stuff. But I'm excited for this year. It feels like got some fun tracks coming out and we'll see what happens.
How exciting. Make sure if you're listening along, you go and follow, you get involved. It's great content and brilliant music. So it's Alex Cape Music. Go and check it out. That'll be fascinating. Alex, thank you so much for coming on today. You've been an absolute joy to have on the podcast. Westwell, what do we say?
Thank you, Alex, for your time. Thank you to the listeners. Thank you for the questions, and we'll see everybody next week.
Thanks.
Goodbye.
Ciao.